Alright YouTube, this is the Eldrazi Green Ramp deck I was playing today. For those of you who were there, I put a thing on earlier, and this is actually going to be the complete deck list. Talked to my friend Eric, he said go for it, seeing as apparently 3 people have already gotten the whole deck list somehow. It's my time, not yours. They said it's a Dark Arm Dragon mat, because I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to at least. So, let's do this. First, I run one of, let me see if I can get the glare out for you, because the glare's going to wear the hell out of me. Okay, where the heck is the button? Up here. Alright, I run one of each of these guys. Run one Emerald, whatever the heck that, a Torn Dude. Run one Kozilek. Or he runs one Kozilek, and you run one Almog, the Impotent Dirge. They're not needed really, if you must know the truth. They aren't, but seeing as the fact that we wanted to have fun with this deck, and he wanted to just make a deck that he enjoyed, this is basically what it came out in the end. Next, you run one Eye of Ugin. Colors Eldrazi spells you cast cost 2 less. It's a legendary land. It's another card we have proxied. It works to actually search them out, seeing as Thronicle will make that go to 4. Makes everything so much easier to play. Next we have 4, a playset of Eldrazi Temples. The second effect is what makes that thing amazing. Add 2 mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast colorless Eldrazi spells or activate abilities of Eldrazi. That works on the Eye of Ugin, because it is technically an Eldrazi thing, I believe, as I was told. I don't really know. We run 2 Tectonic Edges. Basically everything in this format, for the most part, will run something that runs like an Ink Moth, or something that produces 2 different color lands, which is not a basic land. So that's basically what you run to get rid of that. I actually was the one who decided to run 4 Evolving Winds. Evolving Winds is you sack it, you tap it, and sacrifice this card, search your library for basic land, and put it into play tapped. That basically thins this deck out, so you get what you need later game. There's actually a lot of cards that thin the deck out. This is one of them. I'll actually start putting them aside for you, so you can actually see how many cards in this deck will thin this deck out. Even Kozilek at one point will thin this deck out. Next is 3 Misty Rainforests. It's the same thing, but you sack it and you pay a life, and you get to search for a forest and add it and put it into play. It is not tapped. I run 3 of these. Next is just 14. I mean, not 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 12. I thought it was 12. 12 forests you run. The reason I don't run more is because I run 7 things that search out forests, and it makes everything so much easier to search out. I think that's like 24, 25 lands in total, but so far that's 3 things to search out. Next, you run 4 Overgrown Battlements. These are actually tap. You tap it, you add 1 forest to your mana pool for each creature with Defender you control. Being as these are all have Defender, as well as the War of Tangle Cords, they all have Defender, which is really nice because they're all like 0/4s. They will protect big things. What I like about the Tangle Cord is the Tangle Cord actually allows you to protect against flying. You can tap a Wall Thorn, gains reach until end of turn. That's great against Ink Moth Nexuses, Plague Stingers, but mainly Ink Moth and other things that have flying. Squadron Hawks, you don't like call at all. Helps against that. But that's some of that. These are what I call those the mana producers of the deck, at least one of them. Next thing is we run 3 Jiraga Tree Speaker. Really what it's for, to me, is the drop, and it's basically just a defender to me. I use it as a defender. Sometimes, rarely will I actually use it for its effects, because number 1, you never have to go to level 5, because he's basically the only elf you run, so it's better off just to like level up each individual one than level up one all the way. So it could be a mana producer. I don't think it's one. Like it technically is one. so I'll put it in the mana producing pile, but I don't run it as one. Next is Explore. Explore to me in this deck, I don't really use it for its first spec, which is you may play an additional land this turn. I actually usually use it to thin out my deck. The thing though is, every once in a while I will open up so horrible with my hand, I will have like 4 lands in play, and what's good about this is, seeing as that I run 7 lands that search out, my hand, it thins out my deck as well, like for twice, and I'm drawing a card, and I get to play an additional land. So let's say I have 2 Evolving Winds or 2 Misty Rainforest, or like 1 of each. I am now playing 1 card and getting rid of 3 from my deck. That is, to me, what I call that basically going through my lands. Going through my deck. 2 Cultivates. I love Cultivate. I didn't like it originally until then I realized what the hell I was doing with this deck, honestly. Playing Explore, you may play an additional land this turn, and then playing Cultivate, the same exact turn, is so amazing, because I'm basically thinning out my deck. I am getting more lands out, so this I would consider to be both. I consider to be the milling and the land thingies, and the gathering mana. Now, Summoning Trap. Summoning Trap, to me, works so well. I didn't think, I realized it after I would start bringing out the big guys, and they would counter, like, oh, it's like a risky card, but hell, if you take a risk, and if you bring out one of these, one of the big guys, like Kozilek or Amunkle, or hell, you can bring out Primeval Titan or something. You can just you just slow your opponent down and go, how am I getting rid of the next big thing? I would consider this to be just like thinning out your deck more. That would go into the thinning out your deck pile to me, because it just, like, sure, it can backfire, but sometimes it's like, no, it's a great card to have in the deck. So that's another great card to have in this deck. Next is Green Sun Zenith. Green Sun Zenith, I can't really say thins out your deck, because it has to go right back into your deck. But it's basically, you can play it and get these guys out, and just pay 2 and get them out, and just abuse it, and it will come, and it goes right out of your deck. If you draw it again, just keep on. It's a searcher out, but it gets you mana as well, because I will usually search out for that, or I will search out for that. Those will be usually the only 2 things I will ever search out for, and it works so well. Very rarely will I go Primeval Titan, because I usually get these early games. So late game, if I get them back, I'll go Primeval Titan, but I usually get them early games, so I put it in both. Next, I have Wrong Click is Voice the Hanger. Basically, trample, whenever you tap a land or a mana, add that 1 to your mana pool of that type of land. You are doing that a lot in this deck. You will get land like there's no tomorrow down there. Also, the second effect is, whenever an opponent taps a land mana, that land doesn't untap during the controller's next untap step. That also stuns your opponent. That will stun your opponent to no end, so that basically is a mana producer. Next, we're going to try to wrap this up, because I have like another minute and 30 seconds. Primeval Titan. Whenever Primeval Titan enters play or attacks, you may add 2 lands from your deck into your battlefield. That is a land searcher, and that is also a mana. You get mana down there. That is a great card. You just, like, if you can get 2 of them out in turn 3, I've done it before, it works so well. Next is just a beater. Just to have the beaters, the 2 Worm Coil Engines. Yes, one is a proxy, but just to have the option of going Worm Coil Engine is great. Once again, this is my friend Eric's deck list. I just edited it pretty much with the what do you call it? Getting the lands. Garok is basically, I use it for the untapped 2 target lands, because it works so well with this card. Almost every card in this deck works well with this card, because I now get to double my mana in my mana pool. So that's why Garok's there. Also, you can do the trample effect, which I rarely ever use. Finally, Card Liberated is basically to exile things, and I can start exiling my things in late game. Just be like, oh, restart the game. By the way, I win. You can't do anything. That's pretty much the deck list. Sorry if I was going fast. Need to do this in 10 minutes, which is about to be done. So, thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully see you all in one, Mighty Titans or Comic and Toys. I'll post the times for tournaments. Later, guys.